What's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 46 of Hockey on the Spot. Lots of games last night. Lots of games to cover, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Starting with a split squad game between the Nashville Predators and the Florida Panthers. Both games in Florida. The first game was at 2:30 in the afternoon, and the Florida Panthers would win both games, but by different scores. The first game was a blowout, 6-3 in favor of the Florida Panthers. They totally outplayed them, outshooting them 41 to 21. And here were the goals. The Florida Panthers got their goal scoring from Scotty Upshaw on the power play, assisted by Colby Roback and Eric Goodbranson, followed by Eric Goodbranson getting 2 goals. First one, even strength from Marcel Gotch, and the second one also on the power play, assisted by John Matsumoto. The third goal scored. The next goal will be scored by Brad Boyes, assisted by Drew Shore and Garrett Wilson. The next goal would be scored by Scotty Upshaw, his second of the game, even strength, assisted by Jed Ortmeyer and Vince Trocheck. And then to top it all off, Quinton Howden from Vince Trocheck. And the goaltending was solid also. Dov Gourmet Morris would play the majority of the game, making 13 saves on 16 shots and 812 save percentage. And then the other goaltender who would play one period, Rob Mador, who made 5 saves on 5 shots, so he was solid. And then for Nashville, their scoring all came in the first period. They actually took a 3-1 lead in the game. Kevin Anderson would open up the scoring just 44 seconds into the game, assisted by Paul Gaustad. We've been getting a lot of that first-minute scoring this preseason. The second goal, Philip Forsberg, assisted by Scott Ford and Colin Wilson. And then the third Nashville goal, Shea Weber on the power play from Matt Cullen and Colin Wilson. And then they did have 2 goaltenders play, but only one is listed here. Marek Mazanich, 18 saves on 21 shots and 857 save percentage. There was another goaltender that played, but not one that is listed. So the other goaltender is unknown at this time. The second game of the split squad game in Florida would come later on in the day. The Florida Panthers would win that as well, but by a final score. But this game was much closer, 3-2 in overtime. The Squad B game. Florida getting contributions from Jared Gomes, who scored an unassisted backhander goal. Tomas Kopetsky on the power play, assisted by Alexander Barkov and Mackenzie Weegar. And then the overtime winner scored by Thomas Fleischman, assisted by Brett Clark, who is a pro tryout contract invitee of the Florida Panthers, along, of course, with Brad Boyes and Thomas Kopetsky. And the goaltending was good for them here as well, even better than in the last game. Jake Markstrom would play most of the game. Jacob Markstrom making 15 saves on 17 shots and 882 save percentage. And then Michael Hauser would start the rest of the game, going a perfect 13 for 13. He also played the overtime as well, so congratulations to him. And for Nashville, they get their scoring contributions from Colin Smith, assisted by Taylor Beck and Mike Fisher, and Gabriel Bork, assisted by David Legwand and Patrick Hornquist. Their goaltending, only one goaltender would play in this game for them, and that is Carter Hutton, who they got, the young goaltender who they got from the Chicago Blackhawks. He made 24 saves on 27 shots, an 889 save percentage. So he actually had a good game, but could not pick up the win. And the Florida Panthers made some more noise earlier today as well. Tim Thomas finally accepting their training camp invite. So Tim Thomas is with them in training camp. Who knows if he will play at all in the preseason, but hopefully he does. I hope to see him in at least one game, and I hope he does sign because the Panthers need goaltending. I'm not sure if Jake Markstrom is absolutely ready to take the mantle right now. That's just my opinion. And then they also made another training camp invite not too last night. Tom Gilbert coming over from the Minnesota Wild. He'll basically be the replacement for Philip Kuba. Solid puck-moving defenseman. And it's going to a city that has no pressure whatsoever, so he could definitely thrive in that environment. Again, he'll take Philip Kuba's role, and he'll hopefully do a great job. So congrats to him on that note. And congrats to the Florida Panthers for winning their split squad games. Next, the Boston Bruins at the Montreal Canadiens. Boston dominates that game on the road by a final score of 6-3. And Jerome Iginla getting 2 goals in his Boston debut, including the game-opening goal on the power play, assisted by Milan Lucic and Torrey Krug. Nick Johnson would also get a goal on the power play, assisted by Matt Bartkowski and Ryan Spooner. Nick Johnson also had a second goal in the game unassisted, so a 2-goal performance from him as well. And then a scoring flurry in the third period for the Boston Bruins. Jerome Iginla's second of the game from Torrey Krug and Milan Lucic again. Then David Krejci on the power play from Milan Lucic and Torrey Krug. And then finally another power play goal from Zach Trotman, assisted by Matt Bartkowski. So they were absolutely brilliant. 3 assists on the night for both Milan Lucic and Torrey Krug. And the goaltending was very good too. Malcolm Subban played most of the game, making 12 saves on 12 shots. So perfect night for him. And then Chad Johnson would play the other portion of the game. He only faced 8 shots and made only 5 saves, and a .625 save percentage. So even though Boston won, he did not have a good night. So he did not last long in the net. For Montreal, they got their scoring contributions from Travis Moen, assisted by Francis Bouillon and Louis LeBlanc. Then in the second period, they get a couple goals on the power play. PK Subban, assisted by Francis Bouillon and David Desharnais. And then the third goal, also on the power play, Max Pacioretty, assisted by David Desharnais and Danny Briere. Their goaltending faced a lot of shots last night. Carey Price did play some parts of the game. He actually played less of the game, but he made 19 saves on 22 shots and .864 save percentage. The guy who played most of the game, Robert Mayer, Czech goaltender, he made 15 saves on 18 shots and an .833 save percentage. So a good night, great night for the Boston Bruins. Montreal fans will not be happy about that, even though it is only preseason. The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils would also face off. First games for both of them in the preseason at the Rock. All of the New York Rangers preseason games are on the road this season. They have 6 games, and this was the lowest scoring game of the preseason so far, as a matter of fact. And we got the New York Rangers dominated in shots, but it would be the Devils who came out on top by a final score of just 2-1. Matthias Tedenby would open up the scoring, assisted by Rostislav Olesh and Alexander Urbom. Urbom had a great game. No scoring in the second, and then in the third, Eric Jelena, assisted by Peter Harold and Adam Henrique. Adam Henrique was their only top 6 forward in the lineup last night, where the Rangers had at least 4 or 5 of their top 6 guys in the lineup, or at least 3. So big win for the New Jersey Devils. Corey Schneider was the star of the game. He made 22 saves on 22 shots. He went perfect, but it wouldn't be appropriate if Keith Kincaid didn't see some time in the third period. He was good as well. He made 11 saves on 12 shots and .917 save percentage. The only New York Rangers tally came on a backhand try from Dominic Moore, assisted by Danny Cristo and Marek Hrivik, 2 kids that the Rangers are watching very, very closely. Both Henrik Lundqvist let up 1 goal making 14 saves on 15 shots, a .933 save percentage. So he was actually solid. And then Cam Talbot, the backup last night, made 11 saves on 12 shots, a .917 save percentage. So good night all around overall for the goaltenders. But Corey Schneider overall was the best. He was the first star of that game. The Washington Capitals and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Philadelphia Flyers having a bit of a split squad performance of their own. But for this split squad performance, they went up against two different teams. Squad A would play at home against the Washington Capitals, but it would be the Washington Capitals who would come out on top 4-3 in a shootout. And by the way, hey, want to go back to the New Jersey Devils for a second. But right before the game against the New York Rangers, they also made some noise. They finally extend a pro tryout contract out to former Detroit Red Wings forward Damian Brunner. It is believed that they've been interested in Damian Brunner for a long time, but now they finally got him. Again, he's only on a tryout right now. Did not play last night, but I think he's going to be a good player for them, native out of Switzerland. Had a great start to last year, slowed down at the end. The Red Wings did not have the money to bring him back. They are way over the cap as it is. They need to shed some roster space. But he will make the Devils, I think. He will make the Devils, and he's exactly what they need. They need all the scoring they could get with Ilya Kovalchuk and David Clarkson gone. So, good move for them.